All right, Luca Nation. We're gonna bring you a quick episode here on Monday. It's Cage's little man's Cage's son's birthday, so he's in between tasks. So actually, I'm gonna let him kick us off today. I hope he has some words of wisdom.
Yeah, man. Listen, just keep your head down and keep going straight. Right? You got a destination. Just keep your head down and go for it. That's the deal. Put your head down, go. Put the blinders on. Forget about little like distractions and whatnot. And where I'm going on this one, this is the my Andrew mantra, like be focused. Is for the first time now, 6 weeks into it, I got to report I weigh more this week than I weighed last week. I let Luca Nation Fit Family down. I had a communion this weekend. And they had some really good chicken parm. They had some really good Italian food. They had some really good food. And I had some cake. They had like a cookies and cream Oreo cake. Had like Oreos on top of it. And I also maybe went a little heavy on the Reese's peanut butter cups, and so it was definitely not. There's been a couple, and today's not gonna be good too. I gotta do something for the little man. So I'm back up. I put a couple pounds back on, that I had lost. So.
Cage, talk to us.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you, other than eating healthy, and I know you're carb free, you eat the Big Mac without the buns.
Yeah.
Talk to us about exercise, for the Fit Fam. Other than walking, have we introduced any exercise?
I do curls. I do curl wings, and I curl like the burgers. I curl peanut butter cups. Like this motion. You pick up and like bicep curls, I think they're called, right? And sometimes if I drop a peanut butter cup on the floor and I got to reach like backwards like this, I'll do a tricep curl to pick it up off the ground and put it in like this. But other than that, no, exercise is not. It's not a word that I'm doing. It's definitely not in my vocabulary yet. But the point here, it will be eventually, is this is not just about my fatness, right? This is about the hobby in general, right? This is about everything you're doing. This is, sometimes you get sidetracked. Sometimes the week, the month, the quarter doesn't go the way you thought it was going to be, right? Couple fun things. One, there are resources for you. Look what just happened. I come in with my sob story about how this week did not go the way that I wanted it to go. All right. And Andrew says, all right, let's do a diagnostic. Maybe what you got to do is switch it up. Maybe you got to throw some exercise into the equation. Maybe eating Big Macs without the buns is not going to be enough to do it. Maybe you got to do this, and this. So why I start with this as the intro, it's perfect for the hobby. I got people messaging me, and keep them coming, guys. But I got people messaging me everything from like, hey, I collected football. I want to do the football flip. When should I start selling them? To how should I sell them? To, hey, I just got my PSA stuff back. My returns, there's no way I would have sent in half of these cards, if I was sending them in now, and the grades are not what I want them to be. What should I do? It's like, so it's exactly like, that Luca Nation Fit Fam and Andrew suggestion. Maybe you got to do something different. And what I've been telling, I mean, it's not a cookie cutter answer for everybody, but, somebody who has a PSA return that came back and they're not cards they even want anymore. Maybe siphon off 2-3 of the better grade cards that you like for your PC. Cards that aren't going to really sell that much anyway. Like you put a Carmelo Anthony purple, optic in there. It's a cool card. It got a 10. Maybe you hang on to that because it's going to sell for $2. But I would, and I've done this myself, let's try consignment. Try our friend Probes team. Maybe we'll get him on. He's a very busy man. Maybe we'll send it out to Probes team because it's raw. Not that many people will do raw consignments, and he will. If you just got a PSA sub back, try Probes team. Try our friend at the Wharf. Right? Maybe send them into Star Stock because slab stuff is moving fast. They get those in quicker, especially if it's the right kind of card, rookie, you name it. But basically, it's kind of like looking at it a different way, right? If it's cards you got back, you didn't even want them back, and now you just want to recoup whatever money you can. Break clean, start something different. Send it out for consignment, sell it, and whatever you get in, you reassess where you want to be in your collection and your PC, and you deploy that money now in a dip into something you actually do want instead of the stuff you got back that maybe you don't. So yeah,
it's a huge piece of advice. It's probably the biggest piece of it's the biggest mistake I see people make is hold on to dead inventory in hope that it will. I don't know what their hope is, because if you're able to detach from the situation, that you're sitting on a bad investment. But I guess you just don't want to eat it and move on. It's single-handedly, if I would have to create a rule of principles for the hobby, to me, it's rule number one: cut your losses quickly. And sometimes they're not even losses; they just feel like a perceived loss.
Yeah, well, nobody wants to lose, especially when we've had a climate here in the hobby of just consistently winning. You could make mistakes and win. You could back your way into a win. A guy could be injured. I mean, look, we talk about Klay Thompson, right? I mean, that dude just had a humongous run up on his cards, and he's never even played basically for the last 2 years. So you could luck your way into wins, for the while before, but not so much now. And that's why you got to switch it up a little bit. You got to change up your strategy sometimes. So
What percentage? What percentage? Like in baseball, if you hit 1 out of 3, you're in the Hall of Fame. In the sports hobby, if you hit 50%, are you winning? Like what percentage would you say of your investments of like the Devontae Graham, the Pete Alonso, the Tatis? You've made a ton of different investments over the years. What do you think a winning percentage is in the hobby? What percentage do you need to hit? 1 out of 2, 2 out of 3?
I mean, not every hit's the same, right? So you could also hit 1 out of 4, but if you're a home run hitter, that's a different story, right? I mean, if you're more of a prospector and you're gambling on, baseball rookies who are going to 10x, you only have to hit 1 out of 10 of them. It really does depend on what kind of plays you're making. But yeah, I mean, there's no hard and fast rule, but you definitely don't have to hit on all of them.
You don't, right? Let me tell you about a prospect. You actually just brought up Klay Thompson, right?
Yep.
I've been watching the Hawks a lot this postseason. I'm watching the Hawks Sixers series. I said from day one, the Jazz and the Sixers, the number 1 seeds in the respective conferences, are vulnerable. I've said that. And I'm watching this Hawks team, and Trey's getting a lot of attention now, and rightfully so. He's leading a winning team. This team looks a lot better. They're playing really well. But I have a guy there. His name is Kevin Huert, and he reminds me of a Klay Thompson type of player. And that's going to be my play for you guys today. So I went on, and please don't confuse this. I'm not saying he's as good as Klay Thompson. What I mean by that is, and Trey isn't Steph Curry, but if you just follow this metaphor, what makes Curry so effective is having someone next to him that, one, defends really well, and Huert defends really well. And 2, he doesn't demand a lot of the ball. And when he gets the ball, he's ready to make a play. He's catch and shoot, or catch, put the ball on the ground, pull up. And Huert reminds me a lot of that Klay Thompson vibe. And I see the Hawks keeping them together for a long time. Danilo Gallinari, Lou Williams, Bogdanovich, even Capella. These guys are all on the older side. They're probably going to be moving on in the next year, 2 years, 3 years. But this core of Huert and Trae Young, which, by the way, when you're going to look back, they were both drafted in 2018. How funny is that?
Yep.
I think they're going to be a part of the Hawks core for a long time. And take a guess, Cage. What's the price of a silver PSA 10 Kevin Huert?
I mean, I would expect it to have gone up a little bit while he's successful. But, I mean, look, we were talking about guys like Miles Bridges, who didn't make the playoffs but had some flashy dunks and stuff like that. And their PSA 10 silvers were like $300. So if you told me that Huerter silver is up around that, I wouldn't. I would think that would be normal, 300, 350, something like that. But also, because he's under the radar and because he's not a starter and because he's not flashy and because you could probably name 4 guys on that team that are people you would name and then the average person would draft, it also wouldn't surprise me if his silver is $100. You know what I mean? So, shoot.
$59
for a silver PSA 10.
For a silver Prism PSA 10, it ended Sunday, June 6th, yesterday, with 20 bids for $59.
Is it because he's a one-trick pony? Is it because he's a one-trick pony? He's just that outside shooter? I mean,
I don't care why it is. I've already had a blueprint of Klay Thompson, and over time, the hobby found how valuable he is. He didn't skyrocket to the moon like Steph Curry cards did, but this Hawks team, they have a model to build around. They've seen what the Warriors did just 6, 7, 8 years ago. Draymond, Curry, Klay Thompson. Well, I'm not saying Trey and Huerter are those guys, but they're going to reevaluate. They're going to say, okay, we have Trey, we have Huerter, we have John Collins, we have DeAndre Hunter. This is a core. This is a very solid core. And we know big men don't get a lot.
You forgot about their best player, Cam Reddish, your favorite.
He who must not be named. I'm bullish on him. I think Kevin Huerter has a ton of potential. He's a really good shooter. He's got unlimited range. I've seen him shoot from 29, 30 feet out. He's an incredible shooter. He's getting better year over year on defense. But I'm not saying he's going to be the world, like the best player in the league. His cards are selling for a fourth or a half or a third of what significantly less accomplished guys are selling for. And to me, that doesn't make sense for a guy who is so young, has such a bright future. And not only that, and this is what I come back to, guys, and this is what I think people need to start realizing. It's not good enough in the hobby or in the NBA to be a jack of all trades. You need to be a specialist in some. He's a specialist in three-point shooting, and he's going to become a better and better defender. And that's going to be his role. That's going to be his role for his entire career. And I don't see his card staying at $59. You're buying the dip of a guy that I think has quite the potential in front of him. So that's my play today. It's going to be a quick episode, but I wanted to talk about that series. I want to talk about what I'm seeing. We could go into your play cage. We could talk a little bit about the USA soccer game versus Mexico. Talk about a little bit Logan Paul versus Mayweather.
Yeah. We could talk about paint drying, or hug fests, or that kind of stuff. Yeah, sure. Soccer.
Pulisic. I'll tell you, I'm not going to give you guys a Pulisic play. But I would be significantly monitoring Pulisic's soccer card and his market, because he's instantly becoming the most popular U.S. soccer player since Landon Donovan. Remember him?
Yes, of course. I do remember Landon Donovan. He was the name, man. He was the name. Him and who was the redheaded guy? Alexi Lawless.
I hate Alexi Lawless. I love Brian McBride.
Dude, I'm not going to get like a tiny little like thumbs up like I knew a soccer player. Hey now. Hey, you got it. Listen, those guys were no.
I really don't like Alexi Lawless.
Those were no
really don't like him.
They were no Baggio brothers. You know, that shows you how far back I go. Italian soccer. So, but you know,
with the curly-haired mullet, right?
Yeah, man. Dino Roberto Baggio. So, but
I have his jersey.
Fun, right? Soccer. I can't. You know what? What the best thing that happened for soccer this weekend was, not only because Pulisic, won, but the best thing happened with soccer this weekend is that there was an F1 race and Lewis Hamilton didn't win. Some other dude that nobody collected his cards won. So all of the F1 pumpers, pull out the Pulisic cards. Look what he did. It's soccer time again because we can't pump up whoever this weird person who was an underdog in F1 that no one's ever heard of won. It's just crazy. It is what it is. Soccer.
The F1 pumping is really rubbing me the wrong way. Not because I don't believe in F1, but it just feels like they're trying to make fetch happen, like you always say.
Yeah.
And it's not that F1 isn't a popular sport. It's like, is cricket a popular sport? Cricket's a hugely popular sport. But if tomorrow I just started talking about buying cricket cards, you guys would be like, what's this guy's angle?
Exactly.
That's how
100%.
I feel.
100%. What's the angle? 100% right. And what's funny is, listen, what's hot today is usually not hot down the road. And, the pump goes and the pump goes away. And it's funny. It's a great lead into my thing. But I could talk about Logan Paul. I mean, I think I had that Logan Paul fight 100% right. I mean, he didn't really belong in the ring with Floyd. Floyd now, though, some people are saying he loses a little credibility for doing this stuff. He's going to make like $100 million, so who cares about his credibility? I mean, he basically carries the guy. There were a couple of things going on Twitter today. One of the rounds, he punched him so hard, it looked like he knocked him out and held him up. This way he would last the full 8 rounds.
I saw that too.
That's, and boxing's always rife with conspiracies and whatnot, but clearly it was not a really hotly contested fight. But Logan Paul coming out with a BGS 10 Charizard was a cool thing, hobby relevant. If you want to talk about a little cardboard relevant, right?
All I can think about is how hard it must have been to like hold that card with the two boxing
with the gloves. Yeah, with the big and big gloves too, right? It's tough to box out with those huge gloves, right? That's why people get clobbered in UFC, the 4-ounce gloves again. That's why you see so many knockouts. But so I mean, it was like a joke, and it allows, if the ending is perfect, because it allows him to save face, and now Jake Paul can do his thing, and somebody can call out Conor McGregor, and they can continue to do this stuff and make money, and it's cool. It's content. It's content. It's stuff that we're talking about. So there you go. My play. But before I get into my play, I'm gonna do my play. And before I get into my play, I want to say something, right? I get a couple messages this week because we've been trying to tell people, look, message. We got groups, message us, you name it. And I got a couple messages from people, that were like, hey, I've been listening since day one. I love you guys. We've been, you guys get me through my gym. You get me through my walking my dog. This is my commute into work. We love that. And, we built up such a great community. We love every single one of you guys in Luca Nation. We get messages this week and we say, hey, reach out to us. Let us know what you think. And I get messages. It's like, hey, you always say reach out, but I know you're not going to respond. And I respond. And then it's like, I can't believe I'm talking to you. I listen to you every day. guys, we're here. We're here to help you. And the stuff that I started this off with, about like, reach out to us and we'll talk to you about consignment versus star stock versus what you should do with your cards and like strategy. Like, I'm doing that all day. So please reach out. We love chatting with you guys. And it got me thinking. We're going to have a 1-year anniversary coming up in about 5 weeks or so. I'd love to hear what you guys' thoughts are on that. Maybe we had somebody suggest a fantasy football league. Maybe we get some Zooms with you guys. Maybe we get, the groups, our Instagram groups, whoever's in there. Maybe we'll get a Zoom together. We'll do some episodes with the, with you guys live, sort of like a coffee with Cage. We'll get just like we did on New Year's. It's exciting stuff. And one of the things that we love the most about what we're doing here is you guys. I would say it is the thing we love the most. It's it's building up Luca Nation, building up this community, being able to chat with you guys and talk to you guys about your hobby journey and help you along when the patch is a little bit rougher. That's what we're here for. So you got any ideas, suggestions, you name it. And anybody who also wants to contribute, right? Go ahead, please, Andrew.
Well, I was just going to say that right before this, Cage and I, we're talking, and it's getting to a fun point. Like, the more we do this, the more fun we have, but also the less time in the day we have. So it's going to take a few people from the Luca Nation community to step up and actually take initiative and run with some of these projects. We'll support, we'll be active and engaged. And it's not for a lack of desire. It's getting to the place where it's just a lack of time. So you know how it works. We need more people. We need more people to take initiative and run with projects. You'll have 100% our support.
And that's anything. So, you're the fantasy football commissioner extraordinaire. Let's go. You want to help us do a Luca Nation fantasy football league? Get in touch. We'll rock and roll. We'll do 2 of them. We'll do 10 of them. Whatever you want. And double down on that.
We'll do 2 of them. We'll do 10 of them. You're amazing.
Double down. If you are somebody who's interested in putting some content out there, you know how to do some videos, and you might want to do a podcast of your own, and join with us, or you want to get on the Come Up with Cage, or you want to do some videos with us. You want to test your metal. Let's go. Like we want to help you guys, not just buying cards, selling cards, you name it. But there's so much this hobby has to offer from a content perspective, from a business perspective. You got an app idea. I'll tell you if it's stupid. Like, don't worry about it. I'll tell you if it's great. Please, send us those. We love interacting with you guys. And, so I'll just leave it there. You think you can edit videos better than my daughter, who edits videos really good? Let us know. Send us a message. Say, hey, I'd love to edit some videos. You get to see some behind the scenes stuff with me and Andrew. It's not exactly pretty. Sometimes I don't have a shirt on. YouTube stuff doesn't show my best angles. Anyway, listen. So here, going into my play, right? Going into my play here. Andrew and I both talked about this, and he was a bigger believer in it than I was, and I was a little nervous about the pop coming back, right? And the ancillaries are just great on stuff like this, and I will tell you, I've actually sold some of this recently, and I have a bunch at PSA, and I'll probably be keeping them. But I've been rethinking the Marvel play, guys. I was all in on Marvel. That I broke the Marvel box, and Marvel boxes came down in price, and some of the singles kind of came down in price. You name it as well, right? Where we're talking about like the Stan Lee and the Black Panther and those. And I know I did an episode probably a month or 2 ago where I was a little bearish on those Marvel cards, and it was because I just assumed everybody was opening these boxes up and everybody was going to get back all these PSA 10s. Now, there have been some PSA 10s come back. The Stan Lee pop has gone up a little bit and the price has come down. The Black Panther has gone up a little bit and the price has come down. But what I've noticed is those pops are not really climbing the way that I thought they were going to climb. And we had Guess the Grade on, and Guess the Grade, I owe you like 4 calls, and I saw you post today about how you collecting data and stuff like that. We're definitely going to get something together, you and I, where we talk about grading. We talk about like cards and numbers and stuff like that. So guys, a little teaser. I'm going to get Guess the Grade back on. We're going to do something fun about like grading and stuff. But he and I talked specifically on the Come Up with Cage. If you guys haven't watched that yet, take a look where he was on. We talked about Marvel because I got back a really piss poor Marvel grades myself, and you can also see, people, in group subs getting back bad Marvel grades. And he basically was like, look, I've looked at like hundreds of those cards and like 3 of them were 10s. Because just even though you're opening packs, first of all, the packs are 30-something years old right now, 30, 31 years old. Second, even when they were open in 1990, the cards were off center, they were stuck together. The card stock has damaged corners. There's print lines on them. So even with the amount that are being opened, I'm going to tell you, I think I was wrong. Like, I was bullish, and then I became bearish, and I think I'm bullish again on those cards because I don't see the pop. Even with what is at PSA, and the pops are going to grow, but they're not going to grow much, and then it's done growing because people went a little nuts buying those boxes. There's not dozens of those sealed boxes sitting on eBay anymore. You find them if you want, but not the way that it was when those things came out of the woodwork. So I'm a little more bull, and on the right ones. And we've talked about the Marvel story, right? I mean, it's Disney. Disneyland just opened a Marvel's Avengers campus. So part of their park is like Marvel's Avengers campus, like Tony Stark building, and like a $8,000 life-size Iron Man, and like activities and rides, and that's just starting. So that's kids who are going to be going to Disneyland starting now are going to be raised on Avengers and Marvel characters. Not to mention this Disney Plus. It feels like every week now there's a Loki show. There was a WandaVision. There's another movie coming out like all the time. The Avengers are always on. My kid is thrilled. He's building Lego Marvel. We got like Venom. Those are all in the set, and they're all potential rookie mainstream cards. That we have some stuff before them, but the legs on that is crazy. Andrew has called it something similar to like the original Pokemon set, like that 1999 Pokemon set. And I was in, then I was out, and I think they pulled me back in. We're just looking at the data on this stuff, right? Just looking at the numbers that the PSA 10s are not flying. A Venom PSA 10, they've added like a handful of them, and the price is still crazy. The Spider-Man in the black suit is still selling for plenty of money. Like the right ones, the main characters, the pop hasn't grown as much as you would have expected it to grow in those high grades. Even the 9s are selling decent. So my play for today is partly me saying, you can change your opinion on things after you do a little bit of research on it. And I've now flipped. I went, like I said, from bull to bear, and I think I'm leaning back bull on these things. I think these are something I might start to try to go after myself.
I'll close with this.
Yeah.
One of the best things you can learn is to detach from your opinions. You are not your opinions, and your opinions should be flexible. Your values and beliefs should be set, but your opinions should be flexible. And I think it's a strength to change your opinion and put it through a stress test. I think it's very valuable. I think one of the things that holds people back is they get so stuck and they hold on to opinions, even if that opinion doesn't serve them in their life, in their investments, in their relationships, whatever it is. It's one of the things I've learned. That's a great way to end this episode.
Well, there you go. It's a fun one, guys. We love chatting with you. I hope to see even more messages. I'll get to them all, I promise. Send us a message. We'll talk to you guys soon.